At the time of recording this, we are 2 days away from the MLS opening day. And man, I don't know about you, Fabi, but it feels like the off season has just lasted an eternity, man. Took forever. Maybe not for you because you've been so busy with some other things in NYC, but it just feels like the MLS Cup was forever ago. The regular season was forever ago. But here we are. The season is about to start. How excited are you for the 2026 season to officially kick off?
I am very excited for the season to kick off. Like, you don't understand. I've never felt this much excitement over an MLS season in my life. And maybe that's because of my new job at Kickbase, or now that I'm in New York, I understand like the rollouts and everything when it comes to marketing an MLS kind of season. But no, man, I don't know about you, but this off season went by fast and slow. And I say that every single time. We're lucky to have like CONCACAF matches a little earlier. So at least it feels like, we have some real soccer. But no, I'm excited. MLS is always, on in my house, and now it's just going to be more of that.
So we're going to have a little bit of fun today. We're going to talk about some things we're excited about, things we are looking forward to, things we're disappointed in, and then we're going to maybe give a couple of award predictions for MLS. Okay. It's just something fun to kick off. I've done my standings. You've done your standings. If you guys haven't checked that out, make sure you go watch the Eastern Western Conference standings where I gave my predictions, where most of you are probably mad with my predictions, which happens every year. Okay, so Fabi, let's start off with this. When it comes to Major League Soccer in 2026, what are you most excited about this season?
Yeah, honestly, I'm excited about.
Hey, if you're enjoying this video, make sure you give us a like down below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We are 60 subscribers away from 12,000. And with your help, I know we'll reach our goal. So make sure you subscribe if you haven't already and hit that little bell notification so you never miss a video. Now, back to the video.
I know people are going to say, oh, it's not a rivalry. It's not a rivalry. But I'm excited for Son and Messi going at it for the MVP. I think that it was really evident that Son's going to be playing at a different level in that CONCACAF Champions League match or CONCACAF Champions Cup match. The guy was putting up assists, a clip. Like, it was insane, the type of form he already looked to be in. And that's without the rust kind of off, right? I get it. The Honduras team it's not, I mean, it's the strongest team in that league, but it's a Honduran team. But
is that a real team?
Hey, shout out to Honduran newspaper putting my boy Will up there. No, but honestly, I'm just excited for this MVP race. I think Messi versus Son, and then Thomas Mueller is going to be in there somewhere, and then you're going to get the usuals: Evander, Mukhtar, maybe Betarame. I just think Dreyer. I think this MVP race is going to be so tight because there's just so many MVP type caliber players in this league that I'm just super excited for the stars to shine. And that's kind of always what I've looked for. I mean, I love watching attractive soccer, don't get me wrong, but when one player can take the game over, oof, that's a fun sight to watch.
Well, I'm most excited about the season starting back up, obviously, but I'm excited about what could happen after the World Cup. I expect this has been a more quiet off season for a lot of MLS teams, especially after the last couple of years where we saw record transfer fees spent total as a league. I think this summer is going to be insane. And I do think there's going to be a lot of players who are at the World Cup who make their way over to MLS after the World Cup. I think they're kind of waiting and saving everything because I think once the World Cup is over with, after all these players have been exposed in the American market, it's a smart move to sign them in MLS because you could say, hey, that guy you just watched in Atlanta, that guy you just watched in New York City, that guy you watched in LA, they're coming to MLS. So you can watch them on a regular basis. Now, I'm not going to give any specific names because I don't know who, but I do know that they're probably going to sign a lot of players this summer. I think it's going to be a very active summer. So I'm excited, which people might be upset. They're like, Will, God, you're thinking way too far in advance. I mean, the season just started. But I am looking forward to it. I would be lying to you if I didn't say I wasn't super excited. I'm also excited about Concacaf Champions Cup because I think MLS has a very good chance of winning that in 2026.
Yeah, on CONCACAF, I kind of think this is the first year we really have an MLS favorite, right? Like, if Miami doesn't win this, it's going to be a failure. So this is the first year I can remember going into this tourney that there is an MLS favorite for it.
Yeah, and they've done really well outside of the Galaxy, who drew. I can't remember what team they played tonight, but they had a terrible performance. Hopefully, they're able to win next week. But we'll see what happens. Now, as far as this season, and you mentioned Messi, Muller, Son Heung-min, all these people that are going to be in the league for a full season, or at least two of the three are going to be in the league for the first time for a full season. What are you expecting them to do? Popularity wise, I mean, I saw it myself. Son Heung-min has got a crazy following, and I think that is going to strengthen LAFC, and I do think it's going to help the league out long term.
Yeah, look, with Sun, I mean, you and me both know last year was insane. Like all the Sun fans coming over from across the pond, and it was something that was so beautiful to see all these new MLS fans, all these people talking about Buwanga for the first time, and then finally them getting on the Buwanga train, so it was really cool to kind of see all the brand new fans that came into the league. I posted something about like an LAFC pop-up that was in Seoul, Korea, South Korea, and it was so cool, like so crazy to see. Like, man, this is like a photo shoot for LAFC, but this is for fans in South Korea. Like, this is so cool. Little things like that always put a smile on my face because I love to see how international fans are interacting with the league. And man, I might say that the MLS might be more popular than the Korean league, at least this season, or maybe LAFC is the most popular team of all South Korea. So no, it's something to be very excited about. Now with Thomas Mueller, I am here at Kickbase, and Kickbase is technically the biggest fantasy, or it is the biggest fantasy app in Germany. So we have a lot of German fans that play Kickbase already that are excited to actually play with Thomas Mueller in Kickbase in MLS. And they're going to be watching a lot more MLS games this season because they could play their favorite game with him. So it's actually pretty interesting because now being at Kickbase, I can see both sides of it. I can see people being interested for Thomas and people being interested for Son, so it's the impact's going to be insane. I think it's going to just pick right back up where it left. I don't know, man. That with the World Cup, and then who knows what stars come in after. It's going to be a wild ride. But you and me both, and all the friends that we have in this space can say, hey, we were here before the big boom.
Okay, so I want to ask you about biggest, not excitement, because that's what we talked about, what we're excited for, but let's talk about winners. Who do you think was the biggest winner of this offseason heading into the 2026 season? Like, who's a team where you're like, okay, they killed it this offseason. They're going to be much better. I love everything they did. Who would you say did that this offseason?
You're going to hate me for this pick. You're going to hate me.
Is it Minnesota United?
No, I think it's LAFC. I think LAFC. Let me say this. They had some holes. I think they did enough to fill those holes. But the reason why I think they killed it in this offseason was because they left that third DP slot open for a guy after the World Cup. So I'm kind of on the fence where, okay, you got Estiquiao coming in. He looked great, man. He looked like a great player. He almost looked like a DP caliber player as a non-DP. So I think they're going to be able to survive until that summer transfer window. And I think leaving a spot open is okay, especially for this transfer window, the one after the World Cup that's here on home soil. So if you're LAFC, I think you saw in that win, you're pretty confident about this team. I'm pretty confident about this team. And I think they didn't have to use a last DP slot to fill it in. So I'm going to say they killed it. On the Eastern Conference, I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to go with a team that's not Miami. We all know Miami killed it, so don't worry. Go ahead.
Is it Nashville SC?
Yeah, it's Nashville. I think Nashville killed it with Christian Espinoza. And they have 3 players who could win MVP in this league, which is wild. I think that goes under the radar just because the sheer magnitude of all the other transfers in this league. Like that should be a big thing this offseason, but it got dwarfed by, Timo Werner and James Rodriguez. So no, I think Nashville's going to kill it. I think they have a great chance at winning the Supporters Shield this year. And I think with bringing Christian Espinoza, Mukhtar, and Sam Surge up there, they're already connecting for goals in Concacaf. It's going to be a crazy show for BJ Callahan every single Sunday or Saturday.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you this too before we get to our what we're disappointed in. Um, who was your favorite coaching hire this offseason?
Favorite coaching hire this offseason?
You me go first? I'll tell you
Yeah,
who
go
I
first. Go
yeah.
first.
I think it was Tata Martino. I
Oh,
like that he went back to Atlanta United. And look, if you want to listen, if you that's who you would pick to, go ahead and you can say what you want to say about him. I like the fact that he gets a chance at redemption in two ways. He gets a chance to prove himself after Miami, and he gets a chance to prove himself by building Atlanta United back to where they were when he left them. They really haven't been good since he left after the 2018 season when he won MLS Cup. So I think it's kind of like a perfect story arc to end his coaching career, because this will probably be the last time. I would assume this will be the last time he coaches, and it will be interesting to see what he can do with this Atlanta United team and how he'll write his final chapter of his coaching story.
yeah, honestly, I do like Tata. I think that's the obvious answer here. He has a chance of doing something great, and that's bringing that team back to glory. And then, hey, winning another MLS Cup with technically the same team, but a different team. So that's always very cool to see. I mean, there's only a couple of MLS coaches that have ever done that. So he kind of puts himself, if he can do it, in that kind of upper echelon of coaches too. But I think Michael Bradley with the New York Red Bulls is kind of cool.
Yeah.
He gets the benefit of the doubt because he won the MLS Next Pro with the second team. He gets the promotion, basically, the rightfully so, to kind of coach that team. And a lot of people don't like him because he's a Nepo kid, but man, his dad's a pretty good manager. And I think if he can, channel his inner Bob Bradley at all, or find a way to coach the way his dad did, I'm excited for his coaching career. And that could possibly be a USMNT coach on the horizon. So I'm definitely excited for Michael Bradley and how the Red Bulls are going to do. I think they brought in some good additions to that squad. So I think Michael Bradley's a cool kind of shout there.
I like Michael Bradley a lot too. I think he'd have been a good hire even if his dad wasn't Bob Bradley. He's a legendary player for the USMNT. He obviously has played at the highest level in several different leagues. He's an MLS legend. So I think him being Bob Bradley's son is just the cherry on top. I'm cool with that too. That's a good shout. I do like him a lot. Okay, you can't say Christian Espinosa because I know that's what you're going to say. We know you love him. Who is your favorite signing this offseason? For any team.
For my favorite signing for any team, and I can't say Christian Espinosa.
No, you can't say, because we knew that's what you're going to say. So you can't say Christian Espinosa.
I mean, can it be like a transfer?
What do you mean?
Like a incoming transfer? Yeah.
Yeah, anyone. It could be any person who came to this league, traded in the league,
Oh,
anything.
okay.
Anybody who plays for a new team in 2026.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, my favorite is probably Germán Betarame. I think that is such a sneaky pickup. The guy has terrorized Liga MX clubs for so many years, even terrorized a couple of MLS clubs in Concacaf. I think if their goal is to win the Concacaf Champions Cup, you need to bring in a guy who can do it on a rainy Thursday night at Estadio Azteca. You need a guy who can win in Mexico. And I get it, European people can as well, but this guy is ready to hit the ground running. And I think if your objective is to do what you say you want to do, with Jorge Mas saying to the world that they're going for CONCACAF, this is how you do it. You have to bring in a striker, possibly the best striker of the region, and put him on your team with Lionel Messi. So no, I think that was sneaky golden boot opportunity. Like if you're
save
betting,
that for the show. Save that for the show. Okay.
But I think Germán Betarame is a great transfer into this league, and maybe a little under the radar because they're always used to getting European stars, but I still think he's on that level.
I think so too. I think he could score 30 to 35 goals this year. Service he's going to get is incredible. Now we have to see how he meshes with the rest of the team. How is everyone else going to be healthy? We'll see, but I agree. I think that was by far the best signing. And now Christian Espinosa obviously is a very good signing too. I'd consider him to be the most underrated signing because I still don't think enough people are giving that signing credit. So that's okay. I agree with you on that. Okay, let's get into the negative. Okay, what are you most disappointed by, or who are you most disappointed by this 2026 offseason?
Yeah, I think the Colorado Rapids or RSL, to me, I just feel like Colorado kind of just went into sell mode after Armas left. Like they sold Colt Bassett. I just I don't look at this team as a team that's trying to win this year. I look at this team in another rebuild. Um, and then the same thing goes with RSL. Yes, they brought in a lot of guys. Yes, they're it's hard for them to spend a lot of money, but they have a lot of turnover, and they're gonna have more turnover with Diego Luna leaving in the offseason. I just don't think they brought in enough. I think they need some high quality players players like a Chicho Arango or a Diego Luna. So yeah, RSL's it's gonna be tough sledding for RSL, I think, in the second half of the season. So those are two teams I felt like should have done a little more.
I'm disappointed in a couple teams. I got absolutely beat down for this take, but I'm still disappointed in Seattle just because they lost a lot of good players and they didn't really replace them with anybody. I just think that's disappointing. I'm very disappointed in Montreal. Montreal has been a feeder. I wouldn't even call them a feeder club. They're sloppy seconds FC to me. And they just take whoever other teams don't want. They got Toto Alvarez this offseason. We'll see how he does up north. I'm very disappointed in them. And there's the teams you named. I just think there's a lot of teams that they could use the excuse of waiting to the summer, but we both know they're not going to wait till the summer to sign one. That's just an excuse to get them to the summer. And then they'll say, oh, well, we couldn't make any deals. So we'll see what happens, but those teams disappoint me because Montreal just disappoints me because they're an absolute poverty club, but Seattle disappoints me because I have very high expectations for them, and I expect them to act like a top tier club in this league. So that's what I'll say about them. I won't beat a dead horse, but that's what I'll say about them. Okay, so that's your disappointing teams. Is there any player that you're down on heading into the 2026 season? Like, is there a player that maybe is getting a lot of hype or maybe should be good?
Yeah.
You're just like, man, I just don't think they're going to be good in 26.
Yeah, look, Timo Werner, right, is a player that we all know he is a Champions League winner. He's a great European star, but he's still not with the team yet, if I'm not mistaken. And I think we're already gonna hear the excuses of Bruce Arena. Well, he didn't have a full preseason with the team. He doesn't know how to mesh with the team. I just think Timo Werner's first year may be a little slower than people expect. I think the talent's still there. I think he can perform in MLS. I just think it's going to be a slow start for him.
Yeah. So I want to preface this. My least, the signing I don't like the most is kind of like halfway because I do like it. I just don't like the way they did it. I actually like the trade or the purchase of João Klaus to LA Galaxy. I just don't like the fact that he's going to be a DP. I don't think he's a DP level player, especially for the Galaxy. When you think about who they have of Paintsel, Peck, Puig, when he's not hurt, he's good. And don't get me wrong, he's what they need because Jovic was, greatly missed in 2025. I just don't think he's worth the DP spot, Fabi. I think they could have maybe gotten a striker that's close to that quality, but not a DP, and then use that DP spot on a 10. Now, if they sign Felipe Coutinho,
right,
then it doesn't even matter.
Exactly.
It is what it is. But that's if they sign him. I don't know if they're going to be able to. And plus, wouldn't it be kind of weird to think of Coutinho not being a DP, but João Klaus being a DP? That just doesn't even sound right.
What they can do though is kind of do the Rodrigo de Paul thing, right? Like, okay, you're not a DP this year, but next year you will be.
Yeah, and maybe there'll be some changes to where that can happen. Okay. So let's move on to. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I was thinking of about Ken of the season. Obviously, not much is going to happen. There's not going to be any rule changes. The CBA doesn't end until 2027. Then that's when the calendar change happens. So let's get into some predictions. Okay. So I did my standings. You did your standings. We did who we thought was going to finish top of the table. But we both know that doesn't matter at the end of the day because there's a playoff, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm not mistaken, you had either Vancouver or LAFC at number 1.
Of course.
And I had the same thing. And then the Eastern Conference, I know you had Inter Miami, I think top 2, and was Nashville, I see the other one.
I had Miami 3rd, actually.
Okay. So you had who'd you have first?
I had Nashville and then Cincinnati.
Okay. Who do you think is going to win MLS Cup this year?
LAFC.
Okay, LAFC. I think if everyone's healthy, if everything's currently constructed, we're going to see the first back-to-back champ since 2011, 2012. If everyone's healthy. I don't think anyone's going to beat them.
I think LAFC gets Griezmann, man.
I don't think they want him.
You think so?
No, I don't think they do, because Son Heung-min was the Griezmann signing. Like, that was the guy that was supposed. They wanted Griezmann, he didn't want them, and so they signed Son Heung-min. So that's kind of done. Like, that's not going to happen now. I'm not sure who's. It's just hard to predict. I'm going to get killed for saying stuff because, oh my God, you said. But like, what happens if this is not going to happen? But what happens if Mbappe signs with the team in the summer? Like, I mean, I didn't know that. So, but if I had to pick a team right now, I think it's going to be a Miami versus Vancouver rematch. And I'm not just saying that to be lazy. I just think they're very good teams. They're both very, very good teams.
I just like that open DP slot for LA. I think that's like.
Well, here's the thing: they have 4 U22s, so they'd have to get rid of one if they did that. That's the tricky part. They would, like, maybe if they can. It just depends on if they can do that. But
give it to Montreal.
Yeah, maybe they probably would take it. Sloppy Seconds FC. Okay, so we talked about MLS Cup winner, who you think and who I think. Well, actually, did you say who you thought was going to win? You said LAFC.
Yeah,
right, LAFC. Yeah. And I said Miami. Okay, let's get to award winners. Who do you think is going to win MVP?
Yeah, MVP, I think it's going to be Son Heung-min. I think he's going to have a crazy year. The reason why is because if he played a full season last year, he would have had a Carlos Vela-esque type of season. If you just times his, I think he played 10, 13 games, something like that.
Yes.
If you just did 30, he would have had plus 30 goals. So I think the level that Son plays at is a tier above any MLS player. And I think Messi's going to slow down a bit. I think he's not going to play as many games. And I think he's not going to have to score or score as much as he has in the past.
I agree. I think Son Heung-min's going to win MVP because the team is going to depend on him more. Yeah, I think Miami's going to depend on Messi this year. And like you said, I think Son had 18 goal contributions in 10 games. Like you said, he had 10 goals and he had 8 assists. Him and Denny Bouanga were absolutely on fire towards the back end of the season until the playoffs. So I agree with that. I do think that he's going to win MVP. We're in complete agreement with that. Okay, who do you think is going to be the coach of the year?
Coach of the year. I think it's going to be BJ Callahan. I think he's going to shock the world and win the Supporters Shield. And I think he's going to win Coach of the Year for that.
I think it's going to be Greg Berhalter.
Oh, okay. That's a sneaky pick. That's a good one.
Yeah, I think that the Chicago Fire are going to be that's a team that I'm really high on in the Eastern Conference in 2026. I think he's going to win MVP or win Coach of the Year because they finished like 8th last year, maybe 9th, jumping from 8th to 9th. If you finish 2nd in that Eastern Conference, you deserve to be Coach of the Year. If Miami wins first, you and I aren't going to be surprised, right? I mean, that wouldn't be surprising. So if you're finishing 2nd, it just looks pretty good. Just battling the Eastern Conference, that looks really, really good. Who do you have? Who'd you pick? BJ Cowan. Get BJ Cowan. That's right. BJ Cowan. Yeah. Okay. All right. So who do you have as newcomer of the year?
Yeah, newcomer of the year. That one's easy. I think it's going to be Germán Betarame. I think Betarame is gonna win another award. We'll get there, but I think he's just going to be easily the newcomer of the year. It has to be a guy at the beginning of the season. We learned that last year, right? A summer transfer usually doesn't have enough time to kind of get any wins or like any votes. So Dreyer won last year over Son, and I think this year we're going to see another guy that was in this transfer window, which I think Bertarame has the best chance.
I agree. I think he's going to win the newcomer of the year. All right. So let's talk about Golden Boot because you mentioned it. Let me go first on this one, okay?
Yeah.
I actually don't think Bertarame. I think Bertarame can win this, but I'm going to play devil's advocate because you're going to pick Bertarame. I think the other person who could compete with him would be Denny Bouanga because I think he's going to be getting crazy service from Son Heung-min. Like you said, he just scored a hat trick the other night against the semi-pro team in Honduras. So he was cooking last year with Son Heung-min. He had like 3 games and 3 hat tricks with Son Heung-min. So I think that him and Bertarame are going to be going back and forth for that Golden Boot in 2026.
Yeah, and let me just kind of give a shout since we all know I'm going to say Bertarame, but I think Hugo Kuipers has a good chance with Robin Lod to kind of get a lot of goals in with all those kind of ball distributors in Chicago. And then if they get someone else in this summer transfer window, who knows? I think Hugo Kuipers could have a good season.
Yeah. Zinkernagel, I think, had like 17, 15, some assists last year. Very, very underrated signing.
Right.
Okay. Who do you have as your defender of the year?
Defender of the year is a little tough because
Yeah.
it really depends on the best defense or the best like Jordi Alba type kind of player, right? So, go first on this one. Let me think about this.
Okay. Yeah. I think I would probably go with two guys. Jacob Glesnes, who has won defender of the year before, and people will say, "Well, Will, you're taking it easy. What you're just saying that because he's won it before." The reason why I say I think he can win it this year is because he's going to be joining an LA Galaxy team who were horrible last year on the back line, conceded a lot of goals. So if he goes there, Fabi, and fixes that issue of them leaking goals left and right, he's going to get more credit, more notoriety, right? So
Yeah.
I think that and plus people already know who he is. If you follow MLS, you know who Jacob Glesnes is.
Right.
So I think that he is a guy that I think could win the defender of the year. And another a dark horse would be Mikael because he was really good with the Dynamo. People really loved him in Houston, and I think he's going to be really good for Miami.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with kind of a hot take here.
Okay.
I truly think that it could be, but I'm gonna say Miles Robinson. I think that defense is gonna be a lot stronger because Hagelund and Miazga are not hurt, so they'll be around, and they're gonna possibly have even more clean sheets this year. And as a captain or as a kind of leader of that team, I think Miles Robinson will get a lot of credit, and I think Cincinnati will have one of the best defenses.
Okay, let's do goalkeeper of the year. I'll start off. I think it's going to be Chris Brady. I said I already think the Fire are going to be really good. Chris Brady's 21 years old. Normally, you hit your prime as a goalkeeper between 26 and 28 years old. So he hasn't even hit his prime. I think he's going to be even better this year. I really, really like him. I think he has a very high ceiling. I think he's going to be the goalkeeper of the year. Dane St. Clair obviously was the goalkeeper of the year in 2025. But I just think that Miami, the way that they play, I don't know. I think he's probably going to give up some goals he didn't give up last year, but it's not necessarily going to be his fault. It's just a style of play. So I think it's going to hurt him in the voting. I think it's going to be Chris Brady with Chicago.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Takaoka. I think Takaoka had a great season last year and maybe didn't get enough credit for it. But with the full year of Thomas Mueller and basically, him leading the charge and that team having a lot more possession because Ryan Gauld is also back and they have really a lot of superstars there, and them keeping the same spine, I think they're going to be one of the better teams. And I think Takaoka is actually going to be a great pick for goalkeeper of the year.
Okay. Trying to think if there's any other awards we've missed. Young player of the year?
We could do young player of the year.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's going to be Nico Sekiris. I think Nico is the 10 for the San Jose Earthquakes, and he has to make that next step. Bruce is relying on him a lot this season, especially with getting rid of all the guys from San Jose, and Timo Werner is going to need some help. And I think this is the time for Nico to kind of make that next step. You're wearing the 10 for a team. You got to step up, and I think this is a perfect opportunity for him.
Yeah, I don't want to take the easy way and say Kevin Sullivan because I actually think he's going to have probably a disappointing season. I actually did a video earlier today about USMNT prospects in MLS that are 21 years or under. I'm just trying to think of maybe some guys who will get a chance. I mean, there's just so many young players. One guy that I really like, I like this kid named Julian Hall, who I think has seen a lot of minutes for the New York Red Bulls. He's 17 years old. I'm really, really high on him. I think with Choupo-Moting being I think he's turning 38 this year, I think they're going to try to transition and get Julian Hall some minutes. And I think he's really an up and coming, very, very bright prospect. So I'm just going to take a shot in the dark. I got Julian Hall as my young player of the year.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. So last thing, and then we're going to end this. I want you to make one bold prediction about 2026. If you want me to go first, I'll go first. Okay.
I'll go first. The bump in soccer fans won't happen right after the World Cup. It will happen, I think, before MLS Cup.
before MLS Cup.
Like or like in the playoffs and MLS Cup.
Okay.
So we're not going to see a crazy jump in viewership and fandom right after the World Cup, but it will pick up, I think, in MLS Cup and the MLS Cup playoffs.
Okay. My bold take is it doesn't happen until they change their calendar.
Okay. I can see that.
Because, and the reason I say that is because I've seen so many times with big tournaments that right after a big tournament where everyone is watching soccer, it feels like every day for 40 days, there's a little bit of fatigue.
Yeah.
Now there's excitement, but there's a little bit of fatigue. People are kind of just like wanting a little bit of a break just to get a breather and then get back into it maybe like a couple weeks, maybe months later. So I do think the playoffs are going to be incredible this year. I do think they're going to be better than last year. That's not what I'm saying. There will be some buzz, but I think once that calendar changes, that's when the league really changes. So I just say that to say I'm not saying that the league will be different forever as soon as that World Cup is finished in July of 2026.
Yeah. I agree with you on that, actually. I don't think it's going to happen right away.
Yeah. Just because it's like people have to process things, man. They have to like kind of like, take a breather and just like, man, that was 40 days.
Right.
Oh my God,
Right.
So we'll see. But Favi, I appreciate it. I'm gonna give you time to close it out. And any final thoughts with anything you want to say?
Yeah. I'm at this new position of head of content at the new home of MLS Fantasy. So if you like MLS Fantasy and want to play against me, or even maybe will one day, definitely go ahead and download the app and then set up a lineup before the first match day.
Appreciate it, my friend. Yeah, I'm excited. Can't believe it's finally here. Right. Incredible season. Hope everyone has a fruitful, growing season in 2026, no matter what your channel size is or whatever. You just covering the sport. Just hope you guys enjoy it. It's going to be a special year, even if we don't see it after, payoff immediately. I can't believe it's finally here, my friend. Always a pleasure to have you on. What do I say? Merry, what is it? MLS season opening day eve or whatever.
Yeah. Merry MLS season eve, right?
Yeah. Because when this comes out, it'll be the day before. Right. So we'll see what happens, guys. It's always exciting to give these predictions so we can get them either really right or really wrong.
Or really wrong.
We'll see what happens. But if you guys enjoy this, make sure you give it a like down below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And hit that little bell notification so you never miss any of our videos. Till next time, guys. See you all soon.